The international civil liberties pressure group Human Rights Watch has accused Ethiopian troops of systematically ill-treating civilians in the Ogaden region, where ethnic Somalis have been fighting for more than a decade for more autonomy. Human Rights Watch accused the United States and the European Union of ignoring widespread abuses, including rape, torture and beatings.
BBC Network Africa.
Now some grim allegations of torture and rape from Ethiopia. The organization Human Rights Watch has a new report about atrocities against the people of the Ogaden region in the east. A rebel movement has been active there for years now, but the army is being accused of acting against civilians. Georgette Gagnon speaks for Human Rights Watch, and she gave me details from our studios in Nairobi.
We found that over the last year, the Ethiopian army has been killing, raping, torturing, and systematically displacing civilians in the Ogaden region of Ethiopia. And they've done this as part of a counterinsurgency campaign of scorched earth against ONLF rebels there.
You were not on the ground in the area you talk about, so how were you able to reach the conclusions that you've come to?
We interviewed more than 100 victims and witnesses to these atrocities in neighboring parts of Somalia and also in Kenya. We interviewed as well traders, business people, regional officials and others to come to our conclusions. I should say that we also requested access to the area on many occasions to the Ethiopian government, which gave us no response. We're 100% confident in our research findings.
How certain are you, though, that it's the Ethiopian government that is orchestrating this rather than just the work of some renegade soldiers?
All the victims and eyewitnesses that we interviewed clearly identified the Ethiopian army and soldiers as those who had raped them, for example, who had summarily killed people by strangling, and who had forcibly displaced them and burned their villages.
The Ethiopian government, though, says they're not the ones who are perpetrating any human rights abuses in this area. It's the rebels.
Well, that statement is false. The rebels have committed some human rights violations. They have executed some people who they allege are government collaborators, but they certainly have not carried out the crimes against humanity and war crimes on the massive scale that the Ethiopian army has in the area.
So what's going to happen to this report? Who are you going to show it to?
We would like first that the Ethiopian government acknowledge that these things are happening and conduct an independent investigation into the situation there and bring to justice any Ethiopian army soldiers that have been responsible for torture, rape, and executions. We're also calling on the U.S. authorities under the Leahy Law to investigate any of the Ethiopian army units that it provides military assistance to determine whether they've committed human rights violations, because this would require the U.S. government to withdraw the military assistance that it does provide to the Ethiopian army now.
Georgette Gagnon from Human Rights Watch. I'm Audrey Brown, and you're listening to the BBC's Network Africa.